Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my first impressions of the Monochrome Manga Club series reads for the month of July. So the Monochrome Manga Club is an in real life manga club that I host at a local Barnes & Noble where we read 2 first in a series selections, and we're currently doing 2 full series reads. So the selections for the month of July were Volume 1 of Shadow's House by Somato. This one is published by Yen Press and rated teen. And Uncanny Counter, Volume 1 by Zhang Yi. This one is published by Issei Press, rated older teen. Like I said, we are doing 2 series reads right now. We are reading Assassination Classroom, and in July we read volumes 13 and 14. And then we're also reading Delicious in Dungeon, and we read volumes 9 and 10. Now, because we are not at the beginning of either of those series, I will not be sharing with you my thoughts on any of those volumes. But if you're interested in hearing what I thought of those volumes, you can check out my DSIS 19 diaries for the week. So with that being said, let's start off with Shadow's House. So Shadow's House is about this family who are shadows. They are kind of like this. In this volume, we follow these 2 characters here on the cover. I believe her name is Kate, and Ameliko is this character here. Now, the family is a little bit elusive, I would say. We only really see Kate and Ameliko with very slight visitations from other characters throughout this volume. So we kind of just really get a really good introduction to both of these characters and not really like what's going on in the home. So like I said, Kate is one of the family and they look like this, and Ameliko is her like doll. It's a living doll, and they are meant to be the faces for the public because the family looks like this. And so we meet these 2 characters as the story opens up, and Ameliko seems to be a like brand new doll. She is starting to kind of work for Kate as a maid, and so she's like cleaning Kate's room all the time. The thing with the Shadow family is that whenever they have like serious emotions affect them, they tend to like soot. So they like kind of like the top of their head starts to like smoke, and all of that like soot gets into the room, and so Ameliko is constantly cleaning. But this is pretty much the feel of a slice of life story with a little bit of mystery in it, like very, very mild mystery elements to it. So when I first read the synopsis for this series, I thought, oh, it's going to be really mysterious. Like, why is this family like that? Why do they have to have these like living dolls? How do the living dolls kind of work? None of those questions are answered for me with this volume. So like I said, this story felt very, very slice of life-ish to me. We pretty much just follow the day-to-day interactions between Kate and Ameliko. Kate is not very likable as a character. Because you can't see her facial expressions, you kind of can't really tell like what she's thinking besides when she starts to like soot. The story really felt like a maiden servant kind of story from here. And then like I said, the whole like living doll thing is not really explained to you how that happens. Where Ameliko is in her like quote unquote life, you don't really know a lot about it other than she knows that she's supposed to be the face of Kate. She knows that her duties are to clean Kate's room and like kind of be a maid, but she's also like learning things along the way. So it's like she has like no memories from before, so that kind of leans towards the like created doll believability, but at the same time she has human like things happen with her, like she gets hungry. So it's like, okay, is she actually a doll or not? So the mystery part of this is a lot more mild than I thought. I thought for sure there would be some kind of like supernatural kind of more creepiness maybe to this story, but that's not what I got from this at all. It was very, very much like a slice of life. And that's it. I do have some questions, but they're not like, I don't know, like gnawing to be answered from me. So, I don't know about this one for me. I do enjoy the art style. It's very cute, but this was just okay for me. I believe there is an anime, and I think I would be more inclined to watch that before I continue reading this series. Just because I'm not like having the most positive thoughts about continuing with this series, just because there's not much there for me with this one. I don't know. I was expecting a lot more, I guess, from this, and I wasn't satisfied, I guess that's what you could say. So it was interesting. Like I said, I do have questions, but it's not like one of those things where I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta read the next volume. So I think I will be exploring this one via the anime before I decide whether or not I'm going to continue with this physically, because it just didn't grab me the way that I thought it was going to. So that is Shadow's House Volume 1. And then we have the Uncanny Counter Volume 1. This is a full color like webtoon. It's Korean, and it follows a guy who lost his parents when he was young, and so he's living with his grandparents right now. Something about the circumstances in regards to his parents' death have been on his mind. He has a physical disability, and he's got this little friend group. So he goes to high school, and they shoot the breeze with each other. One day when they're like walking home from school, their lives kind of interact with another thing that's going on in the town, where we have this group of, they call themselves counters, and they are basically people who have been tasked to kind of be the policemen, for a lack of better term, for evil spirits that have infiltrated the earth. They have escaped from the other plane, and they have possessed humans, and so these counters become aware of when one of these possessed humans is nearby, and then they go and quickly take care of it. Well, in the midst of one of their missions, one of the counters gets killed, and his abilities ends up transferring to Mun. And so the story kind of follows Mun kind of learning about these new abilities he has, and kind of like learning how to do the job. He becomes one of these counters. And so I actually really, really enjoyed this story. It was much better for me than Shadow's House. I read Shadow's House first. I read the Uncanny Counter next. I really enjoyed this. My only issue with this is that I'm finding that personally, when I read webtoons in a physical format, I'm not having that ability to like really sink into the story. And I think it's because for me, it feels like I'm reading screenshots of a cartoon. And so it's not allowing me to like really get into it. And part of that might be just because you have a full color layout here. And I don't usually read lots of full color layouts. I usually read lots of more black and white titles. And because my brain is not like having to come up with the colors in my head and visualize certain things, I guess that's kind of what's keeping me from like really getting into the story. That being said, I really did enjoy what happened in here. There were some definite moments where I was like, really rooting for Mun and his friend group. And I know I constantly say his name differently. I think it's supposed to be pronounced Mun, and I know I pronounced it as Mun before, and that's just how I read it. But I think it's supposed to be Mun. But I enjoyed that. You know, there's some family drama going on, which I don't really like. But I'm interested to see like where this story is going to go, how Moon is going to progress with the abilities that he has now, and like see what kinds of spirits they're going to come up against. Very, very interesting story. I know there is a drama adaptation that's out on Netflix. In fact, I believe we are going to start watching that tonight. Really, really enjoyed this one. We'll definitely be continuing with that. So that is The Uncanny Counter, Volume 1. And so those are my thoughts on this month's first in a series selections. So before I let you go, I do want to let you know what August's selections are going to be. So we are going to be going historical. And so we're going to do Volume 1 of Mao by Rumiko Takahashi. This one is published by Viz, rated older teen. So it says, exercise your destiny. When Nanoka is transported back in time to a supernatural early 20th century, she gets recruited by aloof exorcist Mao. What thread of fate connects them? Together, they seek answers and kick some demon butt along the way. So I thought that sounded interesting. So we are going to be doing this. Does sound a little kind of similar story aspects to Inuyasha, which is also by Rumiko Takahashi. But I'm interested to see what I think of this title. So we'll be reading Volume 1 of that. And we will also be reading Volume 1 of The Valiant Must Fall by Ueda. This one is published by 7 Seas, rated older teen. It says, he came to die, she gave him a reason to live. Revolution. The Tokugawa shogunate has fallen, and former samurai Haruyasu is adrift in a strange new world, searching for a place to die. But when he attempts to assassinate a government official, hoping this will bring the eternal peace he craves, Haruyasu finds himself at the mercy of the official's bodyguard, a young woman who claims she's the daughter of an immortal. What will she ask in return for sparing his life? So I've been meaning to read this one for a while, and I thought since we were going to do Mao, which is historical, this would be a nice historical story to read alongside that. So that is what we are going to be reading for our first in a series selections. And then of course we will be continuing with our series reads. So we will continue with volumes 15 and 16 of Assassination Classroom by Yusei Matsui. This one's published by Viz, rated older teen. And then we will be reading volumes 11 and 12 of Delicious in Dungeon by Rokokui. This one is published by Yan Press, also rated older teen. As always, if you'd like to read along with us, you can definitely do so by reading the volumes and then chatting with me down in the comments below, or joining our Discord, which is linked down in the description box below. And please let me know if you will be joining us. You can also join along in any of our previous reads. We have threads for most of the reads that we've done with the club in our Discord. So like I said, if you're interested in chatting with us and on any of those titles, you can definitely do so. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me a ghost emoji for The Uncanny Counter, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out, and that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.